I want to thank Rick Bishop, the Executive Director of WRCAG, who invited me. I don't know why he invited me, but he did, and I came. So what am I going to talk to you about today? I'm going to talk about a lot of things that you probably don't think about normally, don't talk about, but it is about the future and what's all about this millennium generation, the kids, the technology. People think we're having too much congestion in our region. Anybody disagree with we have too much congestion? It's getting worse. What's causing that? How are we going to get out of it? What kind of things we're going to build for the future? What kind of economic development we're going to have in the future? We're going to watch few videos, we're going to laugh, maybe cry, but we're going to talk about the future. Just for those of you who do not know, SCAG, it's Southern California Association of Governments. We cover 6 counties. Somebody was telling me, when are you going to take over San Diego? And I said, no. I want to give some out of SCAG because we're too big. We're too large. But large is good sometimes. But what makes us unique is if we're taking as a country, we'll be the 16th largest economy in the world. 191 cities, 6 counties. So in terms of geography, it's a big region. You know, SCAG has about 150 employees. More than the majority of them are young, the millennials. I'm trying to adjust to having the millennials mostly work for me. They're smart. 63% of them hold a Master 2 or a PhD. Proud of them. Very intelligent. And they told me, we have these challenges. Congestion, air quality, housing, the economy. So if I ask you, if I survey you, how many of you think that transportation congestion is the biggest challenge in the SCAG region? Raise your hand if you think that's true. Not many. How many of you think housing and affordability of housing is the big? There it is. As a matter of fact, housing and affordability of housing in Southern California is going to be one of the biggest challenges we deal with. Not that transportation is not a challenge, but there is bigger challenges. Air quality, we did really well. We improved the air, we continue to improve it. Technology will answer a lot of the questions. We developed what's called the Regional Transportation Plan. We update it regularly. We highlight what's going to happen in this region, and we hope we're right most of the time. That plan is very costly. It's a $500 billion plan over 20 years. And it has all kinds of investments. Highways, transit, active transportation. And the question is these investments we used to going to work for the future? And I can't tell you that it will or it won't. You will be the judge after we finish with this talk. In California, we are blessed to have funding for transportation. First, local transportation measures, like Measure A in Riverside. But we have a state, and lately we just extended this year the cap and trade. That's going to bring billions of dollars to California. And you heard earlier about SB1. Regardless of where you stand politically, the funding from SB1 is so needed. And as SCAG took an action early on to support SB1, I stood next to the governor in Riverside and we want SB1. And now there is a recall effort for SB1. People are gathering signatures to put it in the ballot and recall SB1. I will tell you that will be the biggest mistake California will ever do. Because SB1 is fixing a system that's so vital to our economic future. SB1 is bring funds that we never had before, not only to fix the system, but to improve it. SB1 brings half of the funds to the local cities and counties. So let us stand together and make sure SB1 stays the law of the land here. The majority of my talk is going to focus in the future. We're seeing a huge population shift. Whether we like it or not, we're getting older. They say that demographers are much smarter than economists. And the reason is, a demographer will tell you that 10 years from now, we're going to be 10 years older. And he or she will be exactly right. Economists cannot tell you what the interest rate is going to be tomorrow, let alone 10 years from now. So demographer said, we're going to turn older. The baby boomers are going to retire. As a matter of fact, 10,000 people of us turn 65 every day between now and 2035. Why is that relevant? Because that's going to change our need for transportation, housing, and the combination of both. It is important to know that dependency on accessing opportunities, whether it's a baby boomer, a retiree, or a millennial, is the thing that we need to talk about. So what's about our next generation? Most of you. By the way, I am an expert in millennials. I have two at home. I know exactly everything you wanted to know about them. But they are different. And we don't know yet, there is not enough research to say that the behavior of the millennials is going to continue when they grow up and become baby boomers and move forward. It's too early to say that they're going to be so different from the baby boomers. But they embrace what's called the shared economy. They love the internet of everything. They talk about accessing big data and data of everything, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But they are our customers. The millennials now are the largest generation in the United States of America, and they are the most educated generation in the United States of America. Unfortunately, most of them, or on average, they get out of college with about $50,000 in debt. So,
as a millennial, I'm part of the most...
let me show you first a video about the millennial, and then we'll continue.
As a millennial, I'm part of the most advanced crop of humans that our species has ever seen. I love to go out and meet up with friends so we can all sit together looking down at our phones and message other friends who aren't there with us. I like my friends' online personas better than their in-person personas, so I don't associate with them in person anymore. And I can say with confidence, I have literally never held eye contact with anyone. How old am I? I'm 55. According to my birth date, I'm 33, but as a millennial, I don't identify with that age. And it's discrimination to think that I'm as old as my age. Now I'm 65, which means I should qualify to get Social Security checks every month now. When I order something off Amazon, it pisses me off that it takes until the next day for it to arrive. I mean, what kind of BS is that I have to wait almost 24 hours to get my new cold brew coffee maker? One time I started a petition against Amazon. Then I got tired of all the work it entailed before I sent it out to anyone. But still, when I was a kid, I always won the gold medal on the school's track team. I was only the 18th fastest kid, but I always won the gold medal. So did everyone else on the team. And the opposing team, because we were all the best. What that taught me is that hard work and determination are severe forms of abuse. I learned that I don't need to put effort into being great at something because I can just have people tell me that I'm great at that something instead. I'm great at everything I do. It also taught me that me and my family can file a lawsuit against anyone who doesn't give me a gold medal. I have 87 voicemails that I haven't checked, and I won't because I'm appalled when people call me without texting me first to see if they can call me. It's so inconsiderate.
So, like them or not, They are the generation that are attached to their phones, iPads. Imagine if you forget these when you leave home. Your life is over. You turn back. And they are the generation that, we joke about, but they view things differently than the baby boomers. They're into taking 24 hours for something to be delivered. That's a long time. That's a long time. So what do we glean out of this? How would this generation behave when it comes to our world of transportation and housing? This is a favorite quote from Steve Jobs. And I always put it on the screen because it means a lot. In today's world, it's moving so fast. Things are changing so fast that if you don't change with it, you will be left behind. So if you don't cannibalize yourself, somebody else will. He's a smart man, said an important things. So what did this technology and the millennial behavior do to the world? So let us take a couple of examples. Hilton. It's been in business for over 100 years, operating in over 100 countries in the world, houses about 120,000 a night. Remember, over 100 years in business. Take Airbnb. Been in business since 97, houses 7 times the Hilton. Until 1995, Yellow Cab was the largest taxi cab company in the world. Guess what it is now? Uber. How many cars does Uber own? 0. Uber at one point passed General Motors on Wall Street, not owning a car. That's what technology did. And the list goes on of examples of how the world has changed so much. So if I go driving, I drive a lot, get bored, I can talk to somebody. Hey Siri, do you love me?
I'm not allowed to.
She said I'm not allowed to, so she talks back to me. So it's unimaginable what these technologies are doing. You even can talk to the machines now, right? So this is an example of how the world has changed so fast. This is not far out. I mean, it's just 95, Uber and Lyft, 97, Airbnb, 7 times the Hilton. You see it in your house. They're trying to take over Google and Apple. And very soon, everything in your household will be connected to one of these devices. Believe it or not, and I don't know that for a fact, but sometimes you feel like somebody is spying on you because you will be searching something on the internet. And the next thing you know, there is an ad to buy that thing. This is how the world has changed. Instantly now, companies are trying to be in your household and sell you things. Which brings me to something I am so passionate about. Big data, open data, data of everything. SCAG is probably going to do the biggest initiatives we ever did. And that is create the center for big data and open data to add value not only to the public sector, non-profit, but to any private citizen who needs it. How do we get all of this massive data that the public sector, the private sector, the non-profit has, and make it information? And that information adding value to the lives of the people we serve. This is what SCAG is doing right now. SCAG is working with the 18 universities in Southern California, with the major corporations, reaching out to Microsoft and Apple to make sure we have a place in the cloud, but it's a place for people to access data. Give you an example. When this is done, a city that needs to update their general plan, normally it costs millions of dollars to do that. But with this in place, it'll probably cost $1,000. And a city could update their general plan every week if they want to. That's what big data and open data is going to do. That's why SCAG is going to, and the board, I'm grateful for my board who agreed, we're going to put millions of dollars to make sure we create that data center. It will be the biggest in the US, maybe the world. It will have an international flavor. We invite countries that have MOUs with us from South Korea, from China, from Israel, from anywhere who wants to work with us and have that data and open data. So what's this big data is doing? Is we're a revolution in the auto industry now. You know, every company is getting into cars. Google has already driverless cars on the road. Tesla, Toyota, they want you to buy their product. The question is, will there be a driverless car soon on the road? Now, I would argue that driverless cars were there since they invented this, because most people drive, and so it's pretty much driverless, right? But actually, how many of you have been in a driverless car? Okay, so if you came to our General Assembly, you've been in a driverless vehicle last year. And this year, I hope to get you a few of the companies, and you will be in a driverless car. I've been in one. And after a few seconds, it's actually, you feel much safer than if a human were operating it. Now, major companies investing billions of dollars in this. This is no joke. Now, the question that arises from this, so if we have driverless cars, are we going to drive more or less? All indication is we'll probably drive more. But if we share these vehicles like we share everything else, especially the way the million is, we might think maybe we won't drive more, but we will have more access to opportunities. We don't know that yet. We'll find out soon. You know, the technology exists today. If I tell you right now, there is a technology that if the car and truck manufacturers were to deploy, we could double, triple, or quadruple the capacity of the freeway system. Would you believe me? You should. The connected vehicle technology can control the spacings between cars. A capacity of a road is a function of spacing, and speed. So if I could control the spacing through technology, I could put more cars on the road. Without pouring a cubic inch of concrete, I could double the capacity of the freeway system. This is what technology could do for you. So we need to look into the new mobility with the new age of technology. I tell you this, right now, especially in LA County, in the Skag region, we're investing billions, tens of billions of dollars on transit. And that's a good thing. But here's news for you. Transit ridership in our region have declined significantly. Transit ridership in the nation have declined significantly. And frankly, we were baffled. We thought, you know, these millennials don't like to get their licenses early, they don't like to drive. What happened? So we asked UCLA researchers, Dr. Brian Taylor, who said, look into why transit ridership is declining. And he came back, and they came back with an answer. Very soon to be released, a study. You'll first to hear about it. So between 2000 and 2015, the Skag region added 2.3 million vehicles. Between the same 2000 to 2015, the Skag region added 2.3 million cars, 4 times the rate of the 80s and 90s. With adding so many cars, you shouldn't be surprised that transit ridership is declining. So what do we do? Does that mean we stop investing in transit? No, of course we need to invest in transit. But transit agencies need to be ready and willing to provide transit that could compete with the automobile. I told my table, I live in Rancho Cucamonga in San Bernardino County, work in downtown LA. Oftentimes I come home 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I see these big buses, 40 foot, 2 of them connected, carrying 1 passenger. So I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it be better to give that passenger a voucher for an Uber or Lyft, $5 ride, and save the public thousands of dollars? It would be. Transit agencies right now need to deploy the Uber and Lyft model if they want riders and if they want loyal riders. As a matter of fact, many of the transit agencies, including Metro in LA, are working with Uber and Lyft. OCT and Orange County are working with Uber and Lyft to supplement their services. That's the way we need to look at future transit, is to provide the services that makes people think it is a viable option. It is all about providing options. We live in a great democracy, we're free to use whatever we like. Nobody's going to force, no government can force you to take a bus or drive. You have to make that choice. But you will make that choice much easier if we have options on the table. It shouldn't be only one option to get from Moreno Valley to Los Angeles. Should be multiple options. And they should be priced right. So we teamed up with our sister NPOs in the state. San Francisco, Metropolitan Transportation, San Diego, we have a gentleman from San Diego here, and Sacramento, SECAR, Sacramento Council of Government. We were concerned about, vehicle mile travel is going up, not down. We have the AB 32 that said we need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but transit ridership is going down, people are driving more, and guess how many freeways we added since 1990 in the state? Nothing. And I guarantee you, there's not going to be another freeway added in the general sense of freeways for a long, long time. Shouldn't say never, but close to it. So what do we do? And we're growing in population. We're going to add 4 million people by 2040. So what do we do? And transit ridership declining. So we talked to our colleagues from the different parts of the state to figure out, okay, so what do we do about transportation solutions for the future? And we believe very strongly that with the declining transit ridership, somehow the shared economy, the ride sharing. Right now there is, for example, Uber and Lyft pool in San Francisco. In LA even. If you don't mind sharing a ride with somebody else, you pay less, but the car will have 2 or 3 people. So that kind of gives you, that's like a transit in a different way. So, major companies, this is a video Toyota did, is not only thinking about moving you as an individual, thinking of actually, they call it moving cities. Let's watch the video.
Enter the ePallet business ecosystem. Travel time is no longer driving time. It's increased efficiency and productivity time. Mobile personal shops enable you to sell your personal items. Personal mobile marketplace. Individualized ePallet showroom with retail functionality.
So these companies are investing money and thinking about the future differently. Where actually you're no longer thinking about just moving a person from A to B, but moving a person while being productive. Oops. So, what do we do in this era of, first of all, we don't have the answer. We don't know for a fact that driverless cars is going to decrease travel. We know for a fact that would be safer than human drivers. Actually, probably fatal accident will be reduced by 90%. And don't take this lightly. 40,000 people in this nation die every year from car accidents. Somebody said to make this relevant, 40,000 people a year is like 747 crashing every week with full load. That's a lot of people. And these car companies are telling you, driverless car will reduce that by 90%. That's saving a lot of lives. So we don't know whether the driverless car is going to lead to more or less travel, but we do know it's going to be safer. We do know that senior citizens who cannot drive will be able to go from A to B and access opportunities. And many of us will be senior citizens, not necessarily. And I'll tell you, it's very hard when a senior citizen gets to a place where they can drive. I tried it personally. My father-in-law is 93 years old. And he's still mad at me because I took the keys away from him. Access is important. Driverless car will provide that access. The millennials, they want to joke about them sometimes, but the millennials are the largest, most educated generation. And would they embrace this internet of everything, the shared economy forever? We're still trying to get an answer to these questions. There is a video about, again, the millennials, and then I'll come back after the video.
I was at church one day, and the speaker that day was different. I just sat there with tears in my eyes, learning about this ministry that was revolutionizing the planet. I'm talking, of course, about Millennial International. The need is enormous. There are over 10 million millennials out there who have graduated with no work ethic, no job, no discernible skills at all, and they have expenses.
Housing,
student loans,
credit card debt.
And I didn't really realize the magnitude of the problem until I looked into the eyes of a millennial. And I saw that face with the dead, nothing's happening up here kind of thing. So I went out to the booth after the service and I talked with the guy, and he really informed me about the devastation that's not being able to fund a millennial lifestyle.
core power yoga,
Birchbox for men.
I looked over all the envelopes and my heart was really touched when I saw this one particular fellow that I just had to get more information about him. He was Declan from Beverly Hills.
I am an aspiring photographer.
I graduated college with an art degree, so obviously that puts me at a disadvantage.
Volkswagen Jetta lease.
Beard wax.
Spotify Premium.
In his last letter, he wrote to me and said that his weekend was, oh, how did he put it? Totes lit fam. Literally have no idea what that means.
Spin Cycle membership.
Pet food for my rescue dog.
Uber's home from a pub crawl.
A typical sponsorship program costs $29 a month. Millennial International is actually $2,900 a month. Yeah, it seems expensive at first, but when you see the need, it is so worth it.
Trunk Club subscription.
Essential oils.
Annual pilgrimage to Bethel Church.
It's the same as a traditional sponsorship program, except instead of getting, say, a soccer ball for his birthday, he's getting an Audi.
Am I capable of having a job? Sure, but I just feel like maybe employment right now would just kind of be stifling my creativity.
Through the sponsorship program, they actually set up a chance for us to meet each other in person. I brought him an apple pie that my wife had baked for him, but I totally forgot he's gluten-free, so he couldn't eat it.
I mean, obviously, I've seen Food Inc., so I don't eat the traditional meals like everybody else. For breakfast, I usually do like some kombucha juice.
He really didn't have much energy that week, and it turns out, well, he was on a juice cleanse. And I wanted to respect that. My wish for Declan, oh gosh, that he would realize his potential in life, that he would be better, achieve more.
I've been getting blue ribbons and participation trophies my whole life. What do you expect? For me, if it wasn't for the program, I'd have to get a job. Or worse, start a GoFundMe.
So you get the idea, right? So while we might laugh at this, but this is inhabited in the millennials. You know, they embrace different things. Whether that's going to continue, we don't know. We know for a fact that the myth that they're not going to buy cars is not true. They're buying cars. And the question is, are they buying cars because they have no other options to access opportunities, and the transit option is not as great as it should be, or they're buying cars because their parents don't want to drive them around? You know, technology is going to change our lives, whether we like it or not. It's changing it already. I can't imagine, honestly, when I miss my phone, when I misplace my phone for a few minutes, I'm done. I don't know what to do with myself. But we could also look at opportunities out of this. The opportunity that change, as difficult as change is, it might be good. It might create some opportunities to solve our traffic problems. The Uber and Lyft have done something amazing, that actually it made it possible for somebody to live in Southern California without owning a car. And those technological advances and the internet of everything and big data might do that. It might require us to actually live in a different footprint for housing and try to address the housing affordability issues. And for all the elected officials in the room, first of all, greetings for my board members who are here. But for all of those of you who make decisions at the local level and always think the other city should do it, think again. Many cities practice not in my backyard mentality. I don't want to permit for multifamily homes. Let the other city do it. Folks, if you don't deal with the housing issue, you're not going to have an economic development in your city, in your community. We're all going to lose. So the future is here. The future is not 30 years from now. And we need to either embrace it, get ready for it, or be left behind based on Steve Jobs' quote. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Hasan. We have time for a few questions if you'd like to bring them forward.
Yes, Linda.
I'm a young senior, and I'm excited to hear about what's there in it for us and for the future and the kids who don't have a clue about tomorrow. But what about the young seniors who don't have the technology or know how to use a smartphone, even have a phone, how do they navigate to get around if they don't drive a car?
That's a very good question. How do a young senior citizen navigate with today's technology? You have kids or grandkids go to them. Usually when I have trouble with my phone, I go to my daughter. She said, "Dad, shut it off and then put it back on." So I think, look, one attribute of this technology, it's really not hard to use because that's intentional. They wanted to access it. But I encourage young seniors to go on and take lessons. And because my in-laws refused to have a cell phone, period. Refused to have a computer. Sometimes right now, some banks won't open an account for you if you don't use the computer. And by the way, this is going to be more in the future, so I encourage young seniors and seniors to get with it.
That's what I'm talking about. They don't want to change.
Well,
they want to learn something new.
Yeah, and we can make it easy for them too. I really do believe that it becomes as necessary as the food we eat to be with that technology. Because sometimes, say if you go and you want a cab, especially in Southern California, you could get Uber from here. But if you don't have a phone and an app, it wouldn't work. So we have to bring it down to, you have to, it becomes a necessity. But it's a very good question. Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.